What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back with another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. It is so much going on out here. And let me put an asterisk. So much going on as far as news and reporting. But what y'all seeing on the news, I don't think it's accurate. So I'm going to start off quickly with that. I do not think what you are being shown on local or cable television accurately reflects what it feels like on the ground in Los Angeles. And I said it because I had one of my parents call me randomly this weekend on talking loud through the phone. What's going on in Compton? What's going on? Ain't nothing. It's okay. It's okay. Y'all know how it goes. On the news, it seems like it is a war zone, and out here, peaceful protest. So, with that, backing up a little bit, ICE raids have hit Los Angeles County. It has hit Los Angeles County. Different pockets. And there have been conversations about ICE showing up out here, since the election and since the top of this year. But it hasn't been like this yet. Appears to be our turn. But I'm also going to tell y'all, LA County is massive. There are, I think, maybe 8 million-ish people in LA County, miles and miles and miles of land. There is no way for ICE to be everywhere in every pocket where there could potentially be illegal immigrants in this city. It's impossible. It's too big. It's too many people. So what you see on the news and what's happening, it seems like they're targeting specific areas. They're doing the cowardly thing and showing up to people's jobs, which is crazy because I thought y'all said that illegal immigrants didn't have no jobs. That's crazy because y'all showing up at people's jobs. So what is it? There are also rumors that they're showing up at kids' graduations to get the parents. It's nasty. Okay. But it is a lot going on, and that is being portrayed on the news incorrectly, which has sparked the United States government to use it as a political tool to enact their agenda. What that means? The Marines, National Guard have been deployed and sent out here. If y'all go on social media, y'all see our Governor Gavin Newsom. Child, he been on interviews and on social media going off all weekend. He been going off because it's very rare for the United States, the federal government, to supersede what the governor of a state recommends, which was Gavin ain't recommend no military coming in. We don't need that. The protests aren't bad. It's just people peacefully protesting. Y'all, it's not bad. And I'm also, before I continue on, they showing like pictures of cars being burned, and there was one guy throwing rocks at windows of car windows. How do we know that those aren't paid actors and agitators? How do we know this? How do we not know that ICE, because they got their faces and stuff covered, they putting people in the back of these trucks and vans? How we know they really ICE? Because they're not showing any ID. How we know it's just not regular people kidnapping people? Y'all, it's crazy. That to me is more alarming than the peaceful protests. But go to social media, you'll see our governor going off. Your president even threatened to put him in jail. And if he does that, and if there's ever an election anymore, because y'all know I don't think there's ever going to be no elections in this country, you have single-handedly handed him the Democratic nomination for president for 2028. But it's going down. And let me remind people, because folks often think because we got palm trees and it's sunny that LA kind of soft. It's Hollywood, got a lot of transplants, actors, and whatnot. But keep in mind, this city has been built by immigrants. The Black people here who have not immigrated from countries that aren't the United States. Baby, our ancestors drove from the South to Los Angeles and Oakland to start better lives. Baby, people out here are hella resilient. But we've also been through hell in the last 2 years. I'll back it up even more. let's put this into perspective about what people going through out here, which is going to kind of give you an idea of what the end result is going to be and the resilience that is going to show up at these protests. We got the pandemic. Everything like in LA, just like everybody else, was shut down. But Hollywood is our main industry. Hollywood was completely shut down. When the pandemic was over, Hollywood kind of opened back up, but a lot of stuff didn't come back. A lot of businesses, a lot of shoots, a lot of projects started going to other cities and states, other countries. So it didn't really rebound. Then, right after that, you had the actor strike and the writer strike, which simultaneously lasted, maybe a year and a half? A year for both? Working actors in this town are middle class. Everybody you see on TV making money, baby, that's only like 5% of the actors. There are thousands of people in the actors union, and that's not even including the actors who are not in the union. The entertainment industry is middle class. When y'all see Viola Davis and Tom Cruise, that is only, and I'm being generous, maybe like 5%. So when shows and productions didn't come back, people can't survive. When stuff is going to other states to shoot, people cannot survive. Once the writer strike and the actor strike came back, studio still wasn't shooting. Hollywood acting like they ain't got no money. Then we had the fires. Communities in this county have been decimated, haven't rebuilt. Some communities are reporting that insurance companies in the city don't even want to test the soil for toxicity. They're purposely going to allow people to be getting sick on this land. So you got people who lost all their property, lost all their jobs, don't have an option to rebuild because some insurance ain't paying. And to rebuild, you may have bought your house back in the day for $300,000. That house now is worth probably 1.5. You cannot build a $1.5 million house right now because the job market dictates that's how much it is. Baby, ain't nobody got 1.5 mil. So then you have all of that coupled with a city that is literally built and run by immigrant labor. Literally. You going to show up and just start deporting people? Okay, it's going to come to a head. And because people out of work and they ain't got a lot of going on, and you got a lot of people who've been protesting, so they're rehearsed in the protest because of the strikes. Baby, this is the perfect storm for people to get active. LA is actually the perfect place for this, not including the punishment that will probably be enacted by the federal government. But this, don't sleep, because people in LA fed up, they tired, they resilient. And again, this is middle class, this working class. People tired of that shit. Also, let me throw this out there too. Am I alone in not caring if somebody isn't a U.S. citizen? Like, I feel like people be so much conversation about, you should have done it the right way. But I do not care. If you want to come to the United States of America, come on. If you want to put up with them, hey, have at it. I don't care. Like, do we care? Do we really care? Or is it a generational thing? Because I'm noticing, and I don't know if it's just a few one-offs, that there's certain generations who have been more likely to be indoctrinated by that illegal alien language versus other generations that are like, I do not care. I do not care. I'm like, I've never in my mind went somewhere, saw somebody, met somebody, was out doing something and thought, I wonder if they're a U.S. citizen. They're not. You gotta go. I've never done that. I don't care. So I think throughout all of this, that is just blowing me because, I just can't relate. I cannot relate to that. But one thing that is also happening throughout all of this, it's a lot of conversation going on online about protesting, and specifically as it relates to Black people. Because the 92% and the 70 something percent said right after election, hey, we're going to rest and we're going to have some relaxation. We ain't doing all that heavy lifting. We did our job. We showed up to the polls. We told y'all to vote for the black lady. So you know what? You got it. Okay? This is a time for rest, community building, focusing on ourselves. Hey, that's what we're going to do. But as things start to continue on and happen, more people trying to get active. They trying to get out there and hit the streets. And that is coming with on social media conversations that are upset with people saying they're not going to protest, people saying this is what you voted for, people not wanting to join in the movement and not wanting to be involved. And throughout all of that, I want us to remember that multiple things can be true at one time, right? Multiple things. One, people should protest what's happening. The way it looks, this is only the beginning of what's to come. LA, you got other Texas. There are major cities and hubs in this country that have large immigrant populations. So, if people want to get out there and protest, feel free. Whether you black, white, brown, it don't matter. If the spirit moves you, go ahead. Do it. Get out there. Or, like we talked about on Black News over the years, everybody has a lane. Find out what your lane is. Some people are sign makers. Some people are protesters. Some people donate. Some people spread the word on social media. Everybody has a strength. Lean into that if you feel like it. If you don't, personally, that does not bother me for many reasons, which I'll get into in a second. But there's an idea of people feeling like they being bullied to protest. And I honestly think and believe everybody's moment of arrival will come or not. Because if you remember, and we weren't around during this time, but we read history books, everybody wasn't involved in the Montgomery bus boycott. Everybody didn't march to Washington with Martin Luther King in them. Everybody did not join the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Everybody wasn't freedom riders, and everybody wasn't sitting at lunch counters and integrating schools. Some people sat their ass at home and didn't do nothing and didn't agree. There were Black people who did not agree. So we need to get back into that mindset that everybody ain't going to participate and everybody ain't going to be in agreement. It can still get done. Another thing to keep in mind is not just this Hispanic population that's being taken. Black immigrants are being scooped up as well. We also don't know where they're going. So this idea like it's just Hispanic immigrants, no, baby, it's some Haitians. They getting everybody. They not getting the white ones though. Okay, they're not getting white. But it's not just one group of people. And y'all know my opinion. You know, I think they're just gonna start scooping up everybody. But that's all prison labor. But hey, later conversation. But with that, do not shame people for making whatever decisions they are making for them in that moment. If people feel like they gotta rest, let them. Y'all, please. And also, one thing that I feel like needs to happen and is starting to happen, especially around these calls for Black people to join the movement and to join the fight and join the protests. Everybody in other demographics have to learn how to lead movements as well. Now, over history, each group or other groups have had their own movements. There has been Hispanic movements and leaders. There have been Native movements and leaders. There have been LGBTQ plus movements and leaders. But the civil rights movement is the major blueprint, and not even just that chunk of the 1960s. If you're going all the way back to the 1930s and 40s. So the blueprint is there, but allow people to learn and to flex their power. Allow people the space to show you that they want to and care about their causes. We are not the Avengers. Black people are not the Avengers. We can join the movement and we can be a part of it. But what will happen if we end up leading the movement? Give people the opportunity to learn. If you had a baby, you going to do everything for the baby when as they grow up? No, you going to teach them how to do things on their own. But let me remind everyone, whether people decide to protest or not, whether people decide to use this time as rest, or reflection, focus on family, whatever people's posture and position is during this time, I feel like people are not realizing that this is only the beginning. Not protesting today does not mean that this is your only chance to get out there and get active. There will be way more opportunities to do it because this is just the beginning. People have to arrive places on their own and in their own time. And unfortunately, there's going to be so much going on for so long. If people don't want to protest today and they're against it, it's a strong possibility that they're going to end up being the second shift protesters who get on board in a couple more months. And it's a strong possibility that the group still sitting out in a couple more months after that going to be the third shift protesters and get off the couch and get active. Fourth shift, fifth shift, y'all. Everybody don't gotta hit the streets right now. Why? Because then who gonna be rest up and ready to go when the next round of the BS come? Baby, this is just the start. Do not shame people for the posture that they're presenting if it is not in agreement with what you think should be happening right now. Because baby, there's more coming. Don't worry. Don't worry, people. There'll be more opportunities to get active. Do not worry. Also, really want quickly, one thing that I hate and I get so sick of is people always yelling out, where are Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, and black leaders like that? Where's Barack Obama? He sold us hope. He said hope and change and nothing's changed. He hasn't said anything this entire time. Where's Kamala Harris? Why y'all ain't never asking where George Bush is? Why y'all never ask where George Bush is? George Bush is literally a part of the party that is causing this. He literally is their friend. Why don't y'all ever ask where George Bush is and why he hasn't pulled his friends to the side and gotten them together? Why is it always where Barack at, where Kamala, where Michelle Obama? Hell, y'all even asking where Eric Holder at. Why y'all not asking where George is? Where Dick Cheney? Where they at? Where Jeb Bush? Why is it just us? And also, why y'all never ask where Jill Stein is? I told y'all about her. I told y'all. And I know the Black News Sisters, y'all, we on the same page with this. All of us have been telling people about this. Why does Jill Stein get to disappear and pop up every 4 years and dupe y'all into buying into her crap? And then when stuff hit the fan, she ain't nowhere to be found. Why do people keep allowing Jill Stein to take advantage of them? Where's Jill Stein? I ain't see her in the streets not once. She ain't made no statement. She ain't posted on social media. She ain't in the streets. She ain't running for Congress, Senate. She ain't helping with no campaign, mayor, nothing. Where's Jill? I would like to hear her voice through all of this. Not that it would matter to me, but I feel like she owes it to the millions of people who voted for her to take a stand and not to crawl back in her little crab shell and remain there for another 3.5 years. So overall, I say all that to say, y'all pray for us in LA. It is, again, if I go outside my neighborhood, it's fine. But that doesn't mean that it's that way somewhere else. But even if it's not fine, it's not as bad as they're portraying it. And it damn sure ain't as bad enough to deploy the military. Just like, y'all. So just keep us in your prayers. As long as this is happening, I will continue to give updates because this is a very important story and it's a very important happenings. And I just want y'all to be able to communicate that back to other people that you know, so we can stop mis and disinformation from being spread. Okay. Hit me up and let me know your thoughts about it. You can find me at Cornelia on social media. Y'all know I get up on here every week and I talk about how we need to open the schools and people can't read and all of this other stuff. And I want better for my people, so I keep talking about it. Every day I get on social media and I'm shown the effects that social media and these phones are having on people. Y'all, it's the phones. And just me being chronically online, especially as I have to find topics for the Black News podcast, I see all kind of stuff. If it went viral, I'm probably seeing it, good or bad. So it's safe to say that I'll be seeing some wild takes, right? From about all subjects. But the ones that really be getting under my skin are the ones that relate to Black people. Cause y'all know I don't like that. You out here you spreading lies. I don't like it now. But there was one thing that happened maybe a week ago that went viral to the point where the girl made an apology video. But it was addressing Harriet Tubman. This young woman went viral because she said Harriet Tubman wasn't real. And while that sounds crazy and you would think people would be like, girl, shut up. What are you talking about? It bust open the door for other people to start to chime in with their conspiracy theories, misinformation, bad takes, and really just showing how poorly we are being educated in this country. And it's also showing how unwilling and unable we are to do our own research. I'm learning that people literally don't know how to open up the phone, go to the internet, hit Google, and type in something. Not to say that everything you find on Google is true and accurate, but it is a start to sending you down a path to finding something out. I honestly think people don't know how to do that. I do not think people know how to do that. And if they don't know how to do that, they damn sure don't know how to cite they source this. But let me play this the only the beginning because she deleted the video and I can't find anybody who has saved the entire thing. So I'm just going to play the beginning and we're going to discuss. It's very quick and it's sped up too. Ever since I found out Harriet Tubman is not a real person. That's crazy. It fucked me up. Not gonna lie. Because her real name is Araminta Ross. She was a spy for the United States government. Her real name, Araminta, is not connected to the Harriet Tubman. What you mean when you found out she wasn't a real person? Girl, what you talking about? Now, is it as simple as, because she said, I found out her real name. Is it as simple as you trying to be funny and say something like Harriet Tubman ain't a real person because it was a fake name? That's what she went by? Or, girl, are you saying that she, as an individual, was not real? She was a myth. And if that's what you're saying, are you also saying that she did not facilitate the freeing of tens of people of enslaved Africans? Are you saying that that also never happened? Are you saying that a Black woman, an ordinary Black woman, did not or could not possibly have the ability to free herself, then travel back south, back and forth, and make multiple trips to get people out of bondage? Are you saying that that didn't happen as well and it couldn't have? What are we saying? Are we saying, because this is one thing that somebody else pointed this out, and to me, it's a really good point. If we question one thing, why are we not also questioning everything around it? Because if the question is that someone would assume or think that it's a possibility that Harriet Tubman is not real and none of this happened, why are you so quick to believe that Thomas Jefferson was real, that any of those enslavers weren't real? You can go down to the South and drive by a plantation. Why are you not questioning if that is an actual building that housed slaves? You get what I'm saying? Why is it that only the Black history experience is being questioned as real or not? And this goes beyond this young woman, and this goes in general. When people get mad that history is being taught, and specifically they get mad when Black history is being taught, they never get mad about history of that same time period being taught that is not Black centered, because to them it's easy for people to dismiss the Black experience and for people to buy that it could be not true, versus everybody else. I'm also wondering too if it is that idea, that inferiority complex, where, and I mentioned this just a couple seconds ago. Well, it's impossible for someone to believe that a black woman could be capable of all of those things. It could be white supremacy thinking that. It could be low self-esteem. It could also be this idea, because a lot of people I'm noticing have this. They don't think that black people resisted. Because slavery lasted so long, people have developed this idea or have been taught inaccurate information so they can think that black people just were docile and allowed themselves to be enslaved. There were no pushbacks, there were no resistances, there were no revolts, there was no fighting, nothing. People have bought into that, which is inaccurate. If the victors were allowed to tell the history, you think they're going to tell the history of these slave owners, plantation owners being terrorized by the enslaved? People didn't even want Nat Turner's story to get out because it was causing revolts, more revolts. There are literally documents of some enslavers in certain states who did not want black people from specific countries because they kept coming over here and they kept fighting and revolting and killing people. Like they literally shut down getting enslaved people from the Congo at one point because they were too that was too many warriors. They were too aggressive. It's a documentary right now on Paramount Plus that talked about black women using natural herbs to prevent them from getting pregnant. And that was a way to revolt on their individual plantations to essentially refuse to have enslaved babies. That's a form of resistance. I recently heard about another story where black people were keeping like a little dirt or grit into greens and other vegetables to get people, enslavers, used to that texture, because they were simultaneously grounding up glass and putting it in people's food to damage their esophagus for long-term damage and effects. Why y'all think people was having so many undiagnosed and unknown stomach issues back then? Baby, we were resisting. So I want people to ask themselves, why is it so difficult or far-fetched to know that someone like Harriet Tubman actually existed? She also wasn't a spy for the government. She was a spy for the Union Army. Let's be clear. Like, I just don't, y'all, baby, open the schools. Okay, open the schools. I'm going to play her apology, this young woman, because she knew she was talking crazy. But even in her apology, I just didn't. It just didn't do it for me. Okay? It didn't do it for me. I'm going to play a little bit of it.
Hey yo, so I had made a video 2 weeks ago that is going viral because I had said that I found out Harriet Tubman was not a real person. So I want to first say that as a grown woman, it's my responsibility to call myself out on the very same platform that I ran my mouth. And y'all's feelings are valid, your frustration, your anger, because honestly, as a Black American, I should have been more responsible with what the fuck I said, because I understand that when you are a Black freedom fighter, it takes everything that you've got to even have the courage to stand the fuck. And as someone who too revolts against the same system that has enslaved Black Americans, I deeply and honestly, really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, did not mean to disrespect any sort of Black leaders of any kind. And I sincerely mean. What I wanted to say is the version from textbooks that we were given in our classrooms and the same government that once enslaved Black Americans, I have a right to question the education that they teach us. And I'm very weary and I'm very sensitive about what information I am learning. And my anger was inappropriately misdirected to the wrong person. My anger and frustrations were not on Harriet Tubman, and it should have been, or what I wanted to say is my frustration is towards the people who hold the pen and who leaves out truths. And it frustrates me. And honestly, like I said, I should have been more careful with my words. And I also should have been more clear and gone deeper with what I meant instead of just dropping it. I had to come on.
She said she questioned the people with the pen and who essentially wrote the history. But again, why aren't you not questioning? Why are you only questioning the history around the Black person? As Black people, we got to start to notice what we're doing to our own selves. Okay, we got to start to notice what we're doing. I just don't like stuff like that. I just don't. We, it just, oh, y'all, it makes me so mad. It really is. It really bothers me. And I'm not saying that because I feel like I get everything right. I misspeak all the time. If I say something that ain't correct, call me out with love, okay? But tell me. However, with us knowing that there is an attack on our history and that they're rewriting things, I just want us to be more mindful about what we say and what we're discrediting about our own stories. That's all. Okay. That's it. Let me know what you thought about it though. And if you heard that in real time, or if you have some specific thoughts on it, let's chat about it. Let me know, child. You can find me at Cornelia on social media. And also, quick shout out to the BET Awards. It is literally on while I'm recording this podcast episode. And I watched maybe the first 2 hours of it. Hey, this is probably one of the better BET Awards. Okay. They had all of the millennial artists. Ashanti, Maya, Jim Jones doing Ballin'. Y'all, let me tell y'all what it was like when Ballin' hit the club. I was living in New York City when Ballin' came out. And there was nothing like being there, being in your mid-20s at these parties in the city when We Fly High, Ballin' came out and came on. They're unmatched. There are some moments in life where you like doing fun stuff that are undefeated. That little New York City run, being in New York City with them artists, that pop champagne, that whole, y'all, unmatched, out of this world. But also Bow Wow performed. Child, A. Marie was in there. Mariah Carey was out there with a new song. It seemed like it was a good old time. There was a Jamie Foxx tribute that I only caught half of. He was crying. Listen, BT it looked like they did their big one this year, which I'm happy about. Also, shout out to Coco Gauff, who won the French Open this past week. She is the first American to win since 2015. The last person, Serena Williams. Of course it was Serena. But just shout out to her and then to the BET Awards for just being Black and being excellent. Yeah, let me know if you watched either the tennis matches or if you saw the awards, or you're gonna catch the replay. Like I gotta catch the back end. I gotta see what they're talking about. Okay. But yeah, let me know if you were able to check it out. You can find me at Cornelia on social media. On this week's episode of Black News, we talked about what's currently going on in LA regarding the protest and military being deployed into the city. We also discussed someone going viral on social media for saying Harriet Tubman wasn't a real person. And lastly, gave a quick shout out to the BET Awards and to Coco Gauff. Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts about all of these topics, Summer None, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again for supporting the podcast by sharing, liking, subscribing, and rating 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. To find more information about me, you can check me out at Cornelia on social media, as well as on my website, which is cornelia.com. And as always, thanks for supporting, and I'll be back next week with new topics and a new episode.